Welcome to Parsha Power. This week's Shabbos is Shabbos Parshas Acharei. It is also known as Shabbat HaGadol, the Big Shabbos. What does the Big Shabbos mean? So you look in the Code of Jewish Law. Why is it called the Big Shabbos? Because on the Shabbos before Passover, the firstborn came to Pare and said, Pare, you better let the Jews out, or else they're going to kill the firstborn. Pare said, no way. There was a massive civil war. As we say in every Shabbos davening, Lemakim Mitzrayim, God kills the Egyptians, Bivchoireihem, through their firstborn. So we call it Shabbos HaGodol. What's the big deal? The Jews were still enslaved. We didn't gain anything. So why do we make a big deal about the Shabbos before Pesach? The only Shabbos a whole year we call Shabbos HaGodol. We're peace lovers. We don't want people just getting hurt. So what's Shabbos HaGodol? And the Rebbe gives the answer in the Sikha. It says, Acharei Mos godel kishuhu be'ir elokeinu. When is God great? When His greatness is in the world. When the world sees that there's a God. When the elite of Egypt, the Bechei Mitzrayim, realize that God is real, and it's worse to go to civil war for. That means godliness touched them. The mission of the great God is starting to happen. The ice of Egypt is starting to melt with the holiness of fire and passion of God. There's a story told. The Baal Shem Tov said to his students, from whatever you see, you should learn a lesson how you serve God. So they left the Baal Shem Tov, and they saw them carving out a beautiful tselem, a cross from ice. They said, oh my God, what do we learn from this? They went back to the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov told them, you know what you learn from this? That from coldness and indifference to denying God totally, it's very close. That was the symbol of the cross. So Shabbos HaGodol is when God's greatness, is the Egyptian ice is starting to melt, and the elite of Egypt is recognizing that there's a God. That is Shabbos HaGodol. What's the connection with this week's Parsha? The week's Parsha begins, Acharei Mos bnei Aaron. The death of the two children of Aaron. What was the reason of their death? They left the world. They didn't want nothing to do with this crazy world. Their body, their souls expired to God. So God says you can't enter the Holy of Holies only incense. There's a special order. The name of the portion, Acharei, the power of the Parsha. Acharei is what will happen later. Acharei is that when you have excitement of God, know what's the purpose. The purpose is not to expire in godliness, but to bring godliness to the world. That's what makes God big. What makes God big is not when you're in the synagogue, praying, meditating. Acharei, afterwards, when you're in the world, does that meditation help you to be a better person? That's Acharei. So when does God become Godol, big? When it's Acharei. There's an interesting argument in the Talmud how you pray the Amidah. Do you pray the Amidah with your eyes and your heart to heaven? You're like the two children of Aaron. You're aspiring to God. That's maybe the Muslim way of praying, leaving the world. The Jewish way of praying is Einov lemato, your eyes are down. The liboy lemaila, and your heart is to God. You have to know when you're praying that the purpose is not only to remain holy in the synagogue, but acharei, to land back into the business world, into the transaction world. And over there, make God big. That is what Pesach is all about. Freedom from Egypt, from the limitations of the world, to know that in the world you bring God. And that's when you have a free world. And that's when you have a big God. That's what we say Kaddish. Yizgadal v'yizkadash me'rabo. May God's name be big. When will He be big? When Mashiach will come. Because the whole world will see that He's real. Just like the Egyptian elite saw that He was real on Shabbos HaGodel. We make it happen. We make it happen when acharei, when we don't run away from the world like hermits. But acharei, we go into the world. And we know the purpose of our meditation and excitement and inspiration when we study and we learn is acharei, in the world. Then we make God big and we redeem the entire world. So God bless you with a kosher and happy Passover. And we should be redeemed from anything that bothers you or hinders you from serving God with happiness and gladness of heart, and bring God into the world.